Well, I promised you a video of the DMC Coloris collection as soon as I got in the last few boxes of colors that I was out of stock on, and that happened. So I will insert the video in a minute or two and give you the English names, not the French, but the English names for the designs. I'll do a voiceover on the video. But I wanted to start off with talking just a little bit about the differences between the Coloris and the color variations that I showed you a few weeks ago. So I picked one of my favorite Coloris colors because it has blue and brown together. And I think they're going to stay upright on my Lori Holt design board. So this gives you a good idea of, let's pull that down a little bit so you can see more of it, how there's like 4 contrasting but complementary colors within each skein. And I will include a link in the show notes that gives you those numbers in case you wanted to design your own sampler or change the colors on another design that you have. So this way you don't have to do all the work yourself. So that's the Coloris. And what I showed you before was the color variations. And this is closer to a hand-dyed type of thread rather than a variegated. As you can see, the 4 colors included are from the same color family. Not always, but the whole series is going to have more colors that look like hand-dyed rather than the variegated with the different colors in them. So they sell for $1.50 a skein, and the color changes, let's see, for the Coloris, I've read a couple different things, but I'm going to say it's about 2.5 to 3 inches for it to get to each color change. So you can stitch with these a couple different ways. You can go across the row X by X, individual X's, like you would for any of the other popular hand-dyed colors, or you could do the Danish method of going singly across the row and then finishing the row, and then the color doesn't change as quickly. You could also cut out sections of color if they're not going to work for your design, and you don't necessarily have to cut them out before you stitch with them. You can stitch up to the point where you no longer want that next color showing, and then pull it to the back and leave like a loop, and come to bring your thread up to the next stitch of the color that you want to show, and deal with the loop later. You can trim it down or just cut it and weave it under the stitches. So that's an easy way of cutting out a part of a color. And there's probably other things you can do too. If you have a geometric design, you can start like each corner at the same place on the thread and go in the same direction so that you have a very even look to the geometric design. So anyway, I hope that you're interested enough to have some fun with it. You get a lot for your money in that it's the same 6-ply floss in the same 8.7 yards, I guess, or 8 meters as the regular DMC. So for $1.50, you get a lot for your money, and it might be a good series to add to your stash. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the video. And oh, maybe one last thing. They are considered to be color fast and fade resistant, and DMC prides themselves on their consistency in dye lots. So that's good to know if you have a big project and need more than one skein. So, all right, here's the video, and then I'll be back with some new product. Here are the 2 drawers of the Coloris skeins that we have in stock. 4500 is Columbine Gardens, 01 is Wildflowers, 02 Camellia, 03 Wisteria, 04 Hydrangea, 05 is Heather, and 06 is Spring, 07 is Bougainvillea, 08 Frosted Countryside, 09 is Granite Coast, 10 is Maple, and 11 is Indian Summer. And then next drawer, we have 4512 is States, 13 is London, 14 is Venice, 15 is Paris, 16 is Black Forest, and 17 is Elves. 18 is Cottage, 19 is Jingle Bells, 4520 is Christmas Story, 21 is Wide Open Spaces, 22 is Canadian Night, and 23 is North Wind. Okay, I don't have a whole lot new to show you, considering that it's been several weeks since the last video. But the only thing that came in while the shop was closed were things that were already on order or back ordered from a previous shipment or part of a monthly automatic. But it's, it's a nice amount. So Country Cottage Needleworks has July from their Sampler of the Month series. And I really like how it represents the patriotic theme, but it doesn't scream red, white, and blue. Not everybody wants the holiday months to be that bold. So I like those colors. Then number 5 in the Time for All Seasons series from Cottage Garden Samplings is Be Easy Spring. And this series is $9 each. And when the designer first posted this on social media, I commented, every month I say this is my favorite one so far, but I said, I really think this is gonna make it to the end as my favorite. And one of my stitching friends, Mary, commented after me, I knew you were gonna say that. So I really do like this. I like the balance of it, and I like the fact that there's some other colors in there besides just black and gold. Okay. Then Plum Street Samplers had an auto. The first one is Always Remember, which was stitched on 36 count eucalyptus from Fox and Rabbit. And there's a very interesting star pattern that goes throughout the house around the windows, and there are some instructions for how to coordinate your thread so it comes out like the original. Then Flag Flock, I'm going to show it sideways there because this one of her animal designs has something on top of each animal instead of the animals stacked on each other. So I really like that, the way that worked out with the flag. And then there's an extra little scissor keep called Sheep Keep, and those are obviously the herding dogs. Flirting is another one of the George and Martha series. And I just think that's really nice for winter. The first one in the series was Falling, which was an autumn design. So thinking there's a series there, at least the 4 seasons. All right. Hedgerow is another one of the animal stacks that she does. And this was done on 40 count Up in the Attic from Fox and Rabbit. The Equality Sampler is something that people have been waiting for because they've seen it on social media as a part of a previous retreat, and now it's available to everyone. This is $18, and it was stitched on 36 vintage homespun from R&R. So lots of fun little motifs in there. Probably should have taken those out of the plastic, but then you can't see the prices. Then Silver Creek Samplers, I had some new designs that came out for Needlework Expo, and I didn't order them at the time because I had just placed a direct order with her recently, and I didn't have that much that I needed, so I waited until the distributor carried it. The first one is Lighting the Way, and that was done on Light Spooky Hollow from Fabric Flare. All right. Lost and Found was done on Dunes, 20 count Aida from Fiber on a Whim. Reaping Love was stitched on Cocoa, 20 count Aida from Fiber on a Whim. And then Wicked Stitcher Society. And let's see, oh, this was on Shale, 18 count Aida from Picture This Plus. Then Waxing Moon Designs had another one in their trio series. This is Patriotic Barns. That's $9 for all 3 designs. And then last but not least, the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine for summer. And that's the front cover. And this is the back cover. And as you can see, it's the summer issue, not necessarily all patriotic, which is nice because not everybody wants to do everything red, white, and blue. There's a whole lot of other things for summer besides patriotic, including Stitching from the Housewives, Buffalo Plaid Summer, which is included in this issue. Really cute. And then I just wanted to show off what is worth the cost of the magazine itself, and that is the tutorial from Vanna Pfeiffer is on constructing a mattress pincushion. And there's pages and pages of step-by-step instructions. So for $9.99, it's actually worth it for any one of the individual designs if you think about what they would be if the designer had put them out themselves, either as a PDF or as a charted design that shops can sell. It's worth it just for any one of these designs. Now, sometimes the designer will put these out in a year or two, depending on what the contract is, as a single design. But if you like one or more of these, it's worth it just to get the magazine. So that's that. In addition to that, I also got some fabric. So I will put that video in next. I got an order of Aida recently in grays and neutrals, and I thought it would be a good time to show you while I have more than a few colors to compare and contrast. I'm going to start with the grays. It's actually a color that I've been trying to collect for quite some time, over 6 months. It has been a popular decorating color. It's a really good backdrop for several different seasons and holidays, and customers have been asking for it. It doesn't always come in the color that we expect it to be, but it's still nice to have such a nice selection for customers to choose from. So I'm gonna kind of go light to dark here. The first is a Zweigart 14 count Silver Moon. The first time I got this in was maybe a month or 4 to 6 weeks ago, and the entire piece sold to the same customer. So I knew this was going to be a popular color. I have 762 from DMC on top of that one. Then the next is part of a Perman collection from Witchelt. This is called Icelandic Gray, and I have it in 16. Some of these I have in both 16 and 14, but I'm only showing you one because they're pretty close in color between the counts. 02 is a good match for this one. Then we have Graceful Gray in 14 count. 3024 is the DMC I chose. So you can see that it has a slightly more greenish cast to it than the Icelandic Gray. Then Touch of Gray is also from Witchelt. It's a 16 count, and 168 in DMC is what matched that the best. And then this color has surprised me from the very beginning of us carrying this series. It's called Amazing Gray, and here it is in 16 count, but it's really not gray. It's really more like a neutral. So 372 seems to be a good match. And this is another one that always surprises people. This is Platinum from Zweigart, and it is a really pretty color. This is 16, but it's more neutral. It's not really gray. I guess when you think platinum, you think of a shinier, silvery gray color, but it is more neutral than that. Then we have Icelandic Beige in 16 count. 543 seems to be a good match for that. This is Parchment from Zweigart. and I have 613. And then lamb's wool we have in 16 and 14 count. It matches up to DMC 842 and seems to be very consistent in color when we get this in, unlike the linen, which really is a different color every time we order it, and so I stopped ordering it. But luckily the Aida has remained pretty steady. All right, and then the last one is Beautiful Beige, which is also another Perman Aida from Wichelt. 3782 is a good match for this. And another good description for this would be that it's kind of Perman's version of the Zweigart Light Mocha. So if that helps you. If you like a little bit of a stiffer fabric, then choose Beautiful Beige. And if you like the softer feel of Zweigart Aidas, then go with Light Mocha. Alrighty, thanks. And then I just wanted to say thank you to all of the stitchers who sent cards and emails and Facebook messages with their well wishes and to tell me they were praying for me during my COVID experience. And I may not have responded yet or right away. I didn't actually even read them all until recently. I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about it in this format, but I just wanted to say that if you haven't gone through it, it's really hard to explain how debilitating it is. Now, I did not have to be hospitalized, which is excellent, and I did not have chest issues, which is really a problem for a lot of people. I did not have any pre-existing conditions that would make this worse on my body. But it also was really hard to figure out what it was because I had already had my first vaccination. So when I looked up all of the symptoms for, say, a variant of the flu or COVID or what the vaccine can do to you, my symptoms seemed, I think I had 3 symptoms. I actually had 4. I think I had a scratchy throat, which went away after a couple days, and I had that the day before I got my first vaccine. What's also interesting is they don't give you a COVID test before they give you the vaccine. And maybe it doesn't make any difference. I don't know. I'm not in the science or medical field. But as an afterthought, I just thought that was interesting. So I had my first vaccine, and 7 days later, I tested positive for COVID. And I felt foolish. I was mad. I was, thinking, why me? We've been so good and so careful for over a year that I just could not believe that it happened in 2021. Anyway, I guess that's all I'm going to say. The shop was closed for 3 weeks, so I'm trying to get back in the swing of things, and I still feel really deplete of energy, and a couple hours of working just wipes me out. I haven't even taken my dogs for a full mile walk yet. I've just taken them around the house. I am eating again a little more normally, so that's good, and I'll get my strength back that way. But I wanted to mention it, but not, go into too much gory detail. So thanks again. Thanks for watching, and I hope to have some new things to show you next Sunday. Alrighty, bye.